Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. So today we're going to be talking about trading futures. So I'm going to share a bit about what futures are, but I'm not going to go super in depth because I think that there are a lot of other channels and videos on YouTube that can talk more about what they are and so on. So my main focus for today's video is going to be talking about brokers in Malaysia that allow you to trade futures, and I'm going to share a bit of what I found through my research, and yeah, enjoy! So just to give you a very brief introduction on what futures are, a future contract is basically an agreement between two parties in which they both agree to buy and sell a certain item at a specified price at a later point in time. So this sounds like a lot of words, but to simplify it, it's basically, let me give you an example. So say that I'm a durian dessert shop. I own a durian dessert shop, and then I want to buy durians for a certain price, so I need to get it from a supplier, right? But then the durian price might be just fluctuating all the time, especially since it's a seasonal fruit. So as the durian price fluctuates, I don't really want that to happen because I want to get my durians at a specified price, right? Like I can't just change my dessert pricing all the time, you know? So I come to an agreement with this supplier saying that, okay, so at this point in time, I'm gonna buy durians from you at this rate. And then this sort of allows both parties to hedge their costs or investments and so on. And this was the traditional way of looking at futures. This was how futures contracts first came about, as a way to sort of hedge. For example, like sometimes the durian plantations might have a lot of durians and they might not be able to sell it at a very high price and things like that. So entering into contracts that are used for future purposes sort of allow you to hedge that investments even though your price is fluctuating all the time. But then now futures are mostly used as a speculation tool, especially for retail traders. So retail traders use it sort of to speculate, like, okay, at what point in the market is it going to be at this rate, and then how am I going to enter this trade at this time? So it's a bit confusing at first, but really after looking at the way it's traded, I don't think it's that much different from trading your usual stocks, except with the element of speculation in it. So futures trading is a pretty new thing, especially I think in Malaysia. We don't have that many options to trade futures, especially those from like CME futures from America and so on. So out of all the brokers that I went through, I sort of looked at a lot of brokers in Malaysia. I think the one that I found to be especially good was LT Futures. So this company, firstly, and the most important point, is that it is registered with Bursa Malaysia. And this is so important because if you're worried that your broker might be a scam, you know, it might commit fraud, and if it's licensed by Bursa Malaysia, then you don't have to be worried because Bursa Malaysia has a compensation fund for situations in which, you know, you find out that your broker is actually a scam and they took all your money and they ran off. So because it's registered with Bursa Malaysia, then yeah, not to worry about that point. And personally, another thing that I really like about LT Futures is that it offers a lot more different sorts of futures to be traded as compared to some other brokers which only have the typical like gold futures, mini Nasdaq futures, S&P 500. Yeah, those are like the more common ones, I think. But then with LT Futures, they actually also have things like soybean futures or wheat futures, and yeah, agricultural products basically. And also they have things like Hang Seng Index, futures for Hang Seng Index, mini Hang Seng Index, Taiwan Index futures, all sorts of different types of futures that you can look into and you can trade. So another really good point about LT futures, which I personally really liked, is that they allow for intraday margin trading. So what this means is basically that you can trade within the day instead of holding overnight positions. For those of you day traders who prefer to end your trades within a day and you prefer to use a smaller capital, maybe you don't have that huge of a sum to trade a certain type of future, and you want to use margin trading and you want to use a smaller capital, all of these are available if you are using LT futures. And apart from that, I think I'm not too sure about this, but I actually looked at the commission rates for different brokers, and I think LT futures one is pretty low in comparison to some other brokers. But then again, this is something that you should do your research on before you decide which broker to use. But most importantly, definitely for me, I would say that I think the fact that it's registered with Bursa Malaysia, this is one of the most important points that everyone should be very aware of, just in case you put your money in and it disappears. So when it comes to the platform being used for LT futures, I actually found there to be a few good. Okay, I think that it's just hard to get used to at first because I'm used to like NT4, right? But then the platform that they're using is CQG. So one good thing that I liked is that it's all in Malaysian ringgit, so it's all localized and you don't have to convert your prices all the time, like 100 USD was that, 1000 USD was that, like you don't have to do that conversion. So I like that part about the platform. But apart from that, I think it's a bit hard to get used to at first, and you have to pay a monthly fee of 118 ringgit. So I didn't really understand what this was for at first, but later on I got to learn that this allows the platform and the broker to maintain that sort of consistent rate, consistent value of your trades across all the futures brokers, as compared to say if you were to trade like CFD and different brokers have different spreads, and from there can be a lot of money wasted through different rates, right? So it really depends, I guess, but I would say that if you are a regular trader, if you trade every day, then this monthly fee of 118 ringgit is really nothing compared to the differences in spreads that you might lose money from. And just to show you guys a bit of what the platform is like, I will now show you the interface and how I usually look at my daily trades and so on. Okay, so when you use the CQG platform, this is going to be the home page for your CQG platform. So after keying in your account and your password, then you can enter. Okay, so once you enter, this is going to be the desktop version. You can also download the app on your iPhone or your Android phone, and it's a little bit complicated at first when you first look at it, but so here you can see your different futures like your S&P 500, mini S&P 500, your gold futures, and if you want to look at your indicators, these are the ones that I'm using, and you can add more indicators here. They name it as studies, but these are basically all the indicators. And then if you want to use things like your trend lines, all these can be found at the right side of the desktop version, your Fibonacci tools, and what else? So this part here can be used if you like to scalp, or you can click this on the left side, and this allows you to see all the different volumes for the trades. And I usually use this, and I like to type it manually, so you can do that too if you want to. And yeah, I think that's about it. It's a bit confusing at first, so it takes some time to get used to, but I think that once you're used to it, there are actually quite a lot of useful tools available on the desktop version. So yeah. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching this video. Do remember to like, share and subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more videos. Bye!